In the heart of a vibrant Yoruba village, there stood a magnificent Iroko tree, a silent guardian known as the tree that remembered names. For as long as anyone could remember, its ancient bark held a sacred record. The glowing names of every villager who had ever performed a true act of kindness were etched into its wood, a living testament to the community's generous spirit. Each name shimmered with a gentle inner light, creating a constellation of compassion that lit the village square at night. This tree was more than just wood and leaves. It was the village's memory, its history, its very soul, chronicling the love that bound them all together. But one dry season, a shadow fell over the village. The familiar glow of the Iroko tree began to dim. The names, once so bright and clear, started to fade into the bark, their light flickering like dying embers. Some names of grandparents and great-grandparents, vanished completely, leaving behind only the ghost of their presence. A quiet fear crept into the hearts of the elders. They gathered at the foot of the tree, their faces etched with worry. The fading names felt like a personal loss, a forgetting of who they were, as if the very soul of their community was slowly being erased. They performed rituals and offered prayers, but the tree's light continued to weaken. Among the villagers was a young, observant girl named Ayomide. She didn't see the tree's fading light as an act of forgetting. Instead, she felt its sorrow. She would sit under its branches for hours, her small hand resting on its rough bark, and she could almost hear a deep, silent sigh. To Ayomide, the tree seemed hungry, starving for something it had not tasted in a long time. She decided to feed it herself. She started with small, secret acts of kindness. She left a cool gourd of water for a tired traveler, placed a ripe mango at the doorstep of an elder, and mended a playmate's broken toy. With each small deed, she would glance hopefully at the tree, but its light only flickered weakly in response. It was not enough. Confused and disheartened, Ayomide went to her mother, a woman known for her quiet wisdom. Her mother listened patiently, then smiled gently and said, "Ayomide, my dear, a single hand, no matter how willing, cannot form the amala for a whole feast." The words settled in Ayomide's heart, though she didn't fully understand them yet. Her moment of clarity came a few days later. She saw one of the village's strongest farmers, a man whose name once shone brightly on the tree, struggling alone in his field. A large, heavy log had fallen, blocking his path, and despite his great strength, he could not move it by himself. He pushed and pulled, his muscles straining, but the log would not budge. Watching him, Ayomide remembered her mother's words. She realized she could not lift the log for him, but maybe she didn't have to. An idea sparked in her mind. She turned and ran, not towards the farmer, but back into the village. She ran through the winding paths, her voice clear and urgent. Come and help." She called out to everyone she passed. "The tree doesn't remember the name of the one who lifts the log alone," she pleaded, her voice ringing with newfound conviction. "It remembers the names of those who come together." Her words, so simple, yet so profound, stirred something deep within the villagers. One by one, they left their tasks and followed her back to the field. A crowd gathered around the fallen log. The farmer looked up, surprised and humbled. Without a word, hands reached out: the potters, the weavers, the young and the old. Together, they positioned themselves, and with a shared grunt of effort, they lifted the immense weight. As the log was moved aside, a breathtaking surge of golden light erupted from the crowd. It flowed like a river of sunshine, racing from their joined hands, across the field, and straight to the heart of the Iroko tree. In that instant, the farmer's name blazed back upon the bark, brighter and more brilliant than it had ever been before. This single act sparked a beautiful awakening throughout the village. It was as if a spell had been broken. The potter, inspired, began sharing her finest wares with those who had none. The weaver mended torn clothes freely, her shuttle flying with renewed purpose. Children took turns grinding corn for new mothers, their laughter echoing through the compounds. The forgotten feast drums were brought out, and their rhythm once again filled the air, not for a festival, but with joyous calls of "Jay, please, come together." A constant invitation to share work, share food, and share life. With each shared act of compassion, another wave of light surged towards the Iroko tree. Its branches began to bloom with light, and every restored name shone brightly alongside countless new ones, weaving a tapestry of communal grace. The village chief, watching from the shade of his veranda, felt tears well in his eyes. He walked to the foot of the now radiant tree and touched its bark with reverence. "We thought we were feeding the tree with our actions," he said, his voice filled with emotion for all to hear, "but it was feeding our souls all along." That night, the village gathered not in fear, but in celebration. They danced and sang under the tree's luminous beacon, their rediscovered unity shining even brighter than the names on the bark. And there, nestled among the ancient constellation of names, a new one glowed softly, a gentle but steady light, forever remembered by the tree and its people, Ayomide. For they had all learned a timeless truth: kindness is a seed that only flourishes in the soil of community. It is our shared compassion that keeps our world and our memories alive. Thank you for watching. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe for more tales that remind us of the beauty of coming together.